Mr. Thompson, what would you do for us in our plight here in Pine Mountain Club with getting a firefighter paramedic stationed up here 24/7, so that when we have an emergency, we at least have some help and not have the firefighter sit there and watch a member pass away because they're running out of oxygen and the paramedic from Hall didn't get, even so they were here by helicopter, but they weren't transported up to the residence. So that was number one, and I would like to hear what you have to say to that. And the other question I had was, Mr. Watson, you said the ambulance in the last incident with Sue Ellen couldn't make it down to Pine Mountain Club, which basically, in my point of view, is not true, because the road was plowed by PMC plowing, by the plowing service that we have here in the clubhouse. And it was a big truck, okay? And then other cars came in after it was plowed, and they made it in. People that live here or people that came here, except Hall Ambulance, even so it was a four-wheel drive with chain, decided not to come down. Now, what, in my point of view, what emergency service do you supply?
She asked me the question first, and I think I remember what it was.
I interpret for you.
My answer to your question would be, if I was your 4th District Supervisor, I would motion to the Board of Supervisors on Tuesday to bring a firefighter or paramedic up here on a one-year basis for free to do a trial study to see if it works. But I do agree with Mr. Watson, that's only one component. The second component with that firefighter or paramedic would be the transportation component. I would also ask staff to come back with a recommendation to figure out how to solve that issue as well.
Well, like I said, we never wanted to take the transportation away from Hobby Hall.
And it is a component. You need the firefighter, paramedic. You need a paramedic, but you also need a way to get them off the once they're stabilized.
I would like to respond to the issue again last week. On the way up here, I did look at a transcript of the audio tape. All of the emergency services have an audio tape. And if you would like to, you can listen to what the correspondence there was between Hall Ambulance and Fire Department and EMS. And by the way, I certainly appreciate what your people did here to work with them to get the patient down to the Y. But what I did read was that they made 3 attempts to get up there, to get up a particular hill, and were not able to do that. And what I was told was that those automatic chains work in certain conditions, but there are limitations to what they can do. Now, Hall invested a lot of money in that piece of equipment. If it's not adequate to get the job done, then we're going to have to talk to them about getting something that can, maybe they need a truck of some kind. But I think they did make an honest attempt to get here, and I think they made an honest attempt to upgrade their equipment.
Can we get any comments from the fire department about how the automatic chains work, and if you could get out of here and into a fire situation with your automatic chains?
Well, they've got a date here, they're a good tool, but they evidently do have limitations, so I don't know. About ambulance, I only have one fire.
How many people were here when we got into the big arguments about the guardrails? How many people were here? For those of you who weren't here, the guardrail issue got to a point where PMC members voted to assess themselves to put the guardrails from the Y all the way into PMC. and we paid so much a year for 5 years, and then a maintenance fee is still on your taxes. And thank God we've got those guardrails, because shortly after they were put in, there was a couple kids in a truck with a horse trailer on the back that hit the railing several times, and if it hadn't have been for the guardrails on the S-curves, they would have wound up and going through somebody's roof down in the canyon. So the guardrails we paid for, the guardrails are maintained, and we pay for that, right? You had a comment, Roy?
Yeah, you know, I've got four-wheel drive, and I've never even used chains, and I don't understand. I don't understand what their problem is. And at one time I had studded tires, you know, it helped a little bit, and I don't understand it. I really don't understand their problem. They don't know how to drive.
The only thing, that may be the case, the only thing I can say is...
They're flatlanders. Yeah.
Well, maybe they are, but they were extremely frustrated that they were not able to get here.
So they need to teach them how to drive.
Somebody dies over?
They did.
You're next.
Okay, well, first off, one of the things I've heard stated was how much it costs us $6 million that you have to spend on Pine Mountain Club area, and you're only $4.5 million from us, from our taxes.
No, that's the entire mountain community, it's not just Pine Mountain Club.
Okay. But this is not a community that's isolated all by itself. This area is not just utilized by the members of Pine Mountain Club and Fraser Park. This area is utilized by all of Kern County, LA County, and all the surrounding areas. It's a national forest. The guardrails that we paid for protect the lives of people, of truckers and people that go back and forth between here and the coast. So monies that are spent up here are not just intensive to just Pine Mountain Club alone. So I think making a statement is there's 6 million, 4 million brought from here, and 6 million is spent is kind of a misdirection, because we're not the only ones up here that get the benefit from this area, and we use the facilities and we use the roads and we use that sort of thing. So I don't think that's a proper statement to come up with. You know, you cost us 6, you're going to give us 4. That's not right. And as far as the whole ambulance problem or something like that, well, if the gentleman wants the contract, if he wants the job, most of us know if you want a job, you got to have the tools to do the job. He's got to be trained. Before he even ask for this contract, he ought to be able to prove that he can perform the service. So if he's not willing to say, look, here's the equipment that I have, here's what we can do, don't ask for our money and ask for the position if you're not qualified to fill it. So let him train his people, let him get the vehicle, and then say, I want to supply you people with ambulance service because I can take care of it. Now, I can take care of it on a sunny day, but if it's raining or it's a little snowy, you're out of luck. They ought to learn how to do it. I got a Honda CRV I can give them. They can get up here anytime.
I have a question.
And
Why does Harvey Hall have an exclusive? I mean, as I understand it, I can't go out and buy an ambulance, hire a couple of EMTs, and go into business, which I'm sort of tempted to do at this point. I'm sure I could get a lot of stockholders luck with it.
Ray, you want to answer that? I think both of you can answer that.
All of the ambulance companies in Kern County are exclusive providers, and they are monitored not just by our EMS, but by the state. The rates and their performance. And so, and you know, I'm sure if you wanted to go out and find another ambulance company to service this area, I don't think Harvey Hall would mind at all.